We're live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next hour. Indian Prime Minister Modi pays homage to memory of freedom fighters. V.D. Savarkar in Marseille will pay tributes at Mazak War Cemetery with French President Macron. Inauguration of Indian Consulate General also on the agenda. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and US VP Vance meet on the sidelines of Paris AI Summit, discuss diversifying India's energy sourcing. Prime Minister Modi to visit US on the second leg of his two-nation visit. US President Trump reiterates his idea of owning a rebuilt Gaza Strip under US authority, faces pushback from visiting Jordanian King Abdullah II, Egypt to present a vision for reconstruction without exiling Palestinians. Israel threatens to resume Gaza fighting if hostages not released by Saturday. Trump also reiterates Saturday deadline for Gaza hostage release.
If Hamas does not return our hostages by Saturday noon, the ceasefire will end and the military will return to intense fighting until Hamas is finally defeated.
Ahead of meeting with US Vice President Vance, Ukrainian President Zelenskyy offers land swaps amid peace talks with Russia. And on to the top story. After the Paris leg of his France visit, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived in the historic French city of Marseille. At the airport, Prime Minister Modi was accorded a guard of honor. During this, French President Emmanuel Macron was also present. Prime Minister Modi is in Marseille to inaugurate a new Consulate General of India with French President Emmanuel Macron. The leaders have a series of engagements planned for Wednesday, including a visit to the Mazak War Cemetery to honor the sacrifice of Indian soldiers who died fighting in the world wars. And India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in a social media post on X, spoke of Marseille and how the city holds special significance in India's quest for freedom. He added that it was here that the great Veer Savarkar attempted a courageous escape. Prime Minister thanked the people of Marseille and the French activist of that time who demanded that Savarkar should not be handed over to British custody. He also spoke about the bravery of Veer Savarkar that continues to inspire generations. And upon his arrival at the hotel in Marseille, Prime Minister Modi received a rousing welcome from the joyous members of the Indian diaspora. The warm reception highlighted the large number of Indian community members who reside in France and are key contributors to the country's development. And for more, DD India's Jessica Taneja joins us from Marseille. Well, Jessica, take us through Prime Minister Modi's visit to port city of Marseille and what all is expected in the day.
After successfully co-chairing the AI Action Summit in Paris, the Prime Minister has arrived at the port city of Marseille, where both Prime Minister and the French President will visit the Marseille Cemetery later in the day and also inaugurate the new consulate here in Marseille to improve consular access for Indians and the businesses who have been thriving here for a very long time. After that, the Prime Minister would also go visit the International Thermonuclear Experimental Site, where crucial experiments are being conducted. After that, the Prime Minister will emplane for America and continue towards that journey.
Also, Jessica, what is expected to come up in the bilateral talks between the two leaders?
Modi and French President Emmanuel Macron will hold bilateral talks and not only focus on key issues in areas of cooperation that we've seen in the past, for example, civil nuclear cooperation, space as well as defense. You can also see some movement in other areas such as cybersecurity, sustainable development, digitalization and other sectors that will come up for discussions when the two leaders meet here in Marseille.
All right, thank you so much, Jessica. And moving on, after participating in the AI Action Summit in Paris, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the India-France CEO Forum. In his address, Prime Minister Modi mentioned that by 2047, the people of India have set the goal of making the country a developed nation. He invited the CEOs present at the CEO Forum to join in India's journey of development.
भारत के 1.4 बिलियन लोगों ने 2047 तक विकसित भारत का संकल्प लिया है, चाहे डिफेंस हो या एडवांस टेक्नोलॉजी, फिनटेक हो या फार्मा, टेक हो या टेक्सटाइल, एग्रीकल्चर हो या एविएशन, हेल्थ केयर हो या हाईवेज, स्पेस हो या सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट। आप सभी साथियों के लिए इन सभी क्षेत्रों में इन्वेस्टमेंट्स और कोलैबोरेशंस की अनेक संभावनाएं हैं। मैं आप सभी को भारत की विकास यात्रा से जुड़ने के लिए आमंत्रित करता हूं। जब फ्रांस की फिनेस और भारत का स्केल मिलेगा, जब भारत का पेस और फ्रांस का प्रिसिजन मिलेगा, जब फ्रांस की टेक्नोलॉजी और भारत का टैलेंट मिलेगा, तो सिर्फ बिजनेस लैंडस्केप ही नहीं, ग्लोबल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन होगा।
Well, Prime Minister Modi also mentioned that India's identity on the global stage today is that it is rapidly becoming a preferred global investment destination. Referring to the reformative steps being taken in the country, he emphasized that this is the right time for investment.
आज भारत डाइवर्सिफिकेशन और डी रिस्किंग का सबसे बड़ा केंद्र बनता जा रहा है। कुछ दिन पहले हमारे बजट में न्यू जनरेशन रिफॉर्म्स अंकित किए गए हैं। ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस के लिए नए कदम उठाए हैं। पिछले कुछ वर्षों में हमने 40,000 से अधिक कंप्लायंसेस को रैशनलाइज किया है। ट्रस्ट बेस्ड इकोनॉमिक गवर्नेंस को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए एक हाई लेवल कमिटी फॉर रेगुलेटरी रिफॉर्म्स गठित की है। कस्टम रेट स्ट्रक्चर को रेशनलाइज किया है। अंतर्राष्ट्रीय व्यापार को आसान करने के लिए डिजिटल पब्लिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की मदद से भारत ट्रेड नेट की शुरुआत की जा रही है। ईज ऑफ लिविंग की दिशा में नया सिंप्लीफाइड इनकम टैक्स कोड हम ले आ रहे हैं। नेशनल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग मिशन की घोषणा की है और नए सेक्टर्स जैसे कि इंश्योरेंस सेक्टर को 100% एफडीआई के लिए खोल दिया गया है। इन सब इनिशिएटिव्स को आप जरूर ध्यान से स्टडी करें। मैं आप सबको कहता हूं कि भारत में आने का यही समय है, सही समय है।
Also, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar addressed the inaugural session of 14th India-France CEO Forum in Paris on Tuesday. Foreign Affairs of France, Jean-Noël Barrot, and Finance and Industrial Minister Eric Lombard also took part in the event. While addressing, Dr. Jaishankar highlighted the potential of India, France and India-EU cooperation in diversifying production, making supply chains resilient and de-risking global economy. Further, Dr. Jaishankar also underlined the trust, comfort and ambition in the India-France partnership. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi met US Vice President Vance and his Indian origin wife Usha along with their two young sons on the sidelines of the AI Action Summit in Paris on Tuesday. Prime Minister Modi posted images of the meeting on X showing him with the Vance family, including their sons Ivan and Vivek. The Prime Minister's post read, "Had a wonderful meeting with US Vice President J.D. Vance and his family. We had a great conversation on various subjects. Delighted to join them in celebrating the joyous birthday of their son, Vivek." Earlier, in a video shared by Indian Prime Minister's office, the Prime Minister was seen holding talks with Vance while his wife watched on. It came soon after Vance's address at the summit in which he welcomed Modi's positive stance on AI as co-chair of the conference with France. Well, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and French President Emmanuel Macron co-chaired the AI Action Summit in Paris, which saw participation from world leaders and tech experts. Prime Minister Modi spoke on India's AI perspectives and priorities. The event focused on inclusivity and sustainable AI, ending with a leader's statement on safe AI governance. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya reports for more from Paris.
India is taking a decisive role in shaping the future of artificial intelligence. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi co-chaired the third AI Action Summit alongside French President Emmanuel Macron. During his address, he emphasized AI's potential for global good, while also warning about its inherent biases and the need for international cooperation.
I welcome the decision to set up the AI Foundation at the Council for Sustainable AI. We must also make the Global Partnership for AI truly global in nature. To build on the momentum of this Action Summit, India would be happy to host the next summit.
With AI rapidly reshaping economy, security and society, Prime Minister Modi also spoke about one of the biggest concerns, job displacement.
Loss of jobs is AI's most feared disruption. But history has shown that work does not disappear due to technology. Its nature changes and new types of jobs are created. We need to invest in skilling and reskilling our people for an AI-driven future.
Prime Minister Modi highlighted India's growing AI talent pool and the development of India's large language model designed to pool resources like compute power. French President echoed the need for open source AI to ensure an inclusive and transparent AI future.
If we want to trust artificial intelligence, we have to have greater and more consolidated quality data. And if we want to have models, we want to have open access, but it has to be multiple access. And the example we saw from Prime Minister Modi earlier, we can see the different models. We want open source models and multiple sorts which reflect our diversity.
Beyond risk, AI governance must also promote innovation and accessibility for all. With AI shaping the future at an unprecedented pace, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's message was clear. Innovation must go hand in hand with responsible governance. As global leaders deliberate, the focus remains on making AI inclusive, transparent and accessible for all. With camera person Rakesh, this is Tapas Bhattacharya for DD India from Paris.
And still to come in DD India News Hour. Trump's plan of 25% tariffs on steel and aluminium could spark a global trade war, straining Canada, Mexico and beyond. Aligning with US President Donald Trump's order, Google renames Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America for American users. NASA swaps a SpaceX capsule for Crew 10 mission, accelerating astronaut return from ISS.
Prasar Bharati, in collaboration with IIT Delhi and Software Technology Parks of India, is organizing the DD Robocon 2025 this year as well. In this National Robotic Championship, engineering students will get ample opportunities to showcase their ingenuity and potential. The national selection for this championship will be held on the 12th and 13th of July, and the winning team will get an opportunity to participate in the International ABU Robocon Championship to be held in Mongolia in August this year. So, hurry up! The last date of registration is the 16th of February. For more information, log on to www.ddrobocon.iitd.ac.in.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on, Jordan King Abdullah met Donald Trump in the U.S., who restated his plan for the U.S. to take over Gaza and insisted that Jordan would house displaced Palestinians despite the king's opposition to the proposal. Trump said he would not budge on his idea that involves moving the Gaza Strip's shell-shocked residents and transforming the conflict-ravaged territory into what he billed as Riviera of the Middle East.
It's a war-torn area. We're going to take it, we're going to hold it, we're going to cherish it.
Well, despite the views of his Jordanian counterpart, Trump said Jordan as well as Egypt would ultimately agree to house displaced Gazans. Both countries rely on Washington for economic and military aid. King Abdullah did not agree to Trump's plan, however, praised Trump for his commitment to bring peace and stability in the West Asia.
President, I truly believe that with all the challenges that we have in the Middle East, that I finally see somebody that can take us across the finish line to bring stability, peace, and prosperity to all of us in the region. And it is, I think, our collective responsibility in the Middle East to continue to work with you, to support you, to achieve those lofty goals.
Well, Jordan's king is currently in Washington, during which he visited the Capitol on Tuesday. He met with the U.S. Senate Majority Leader John Thune and joined other senators for lunch. Well, Egypt, on its part, spelled out its plans to offer a comprehensive proposal to rebuild Gaza while ensuring Palestinians remain on their land. It said it is looking forward to cooperating with U.S. President Donald Trump to reach comprehensive and just peace in the region. This came while Egypt rejected any proposal to allocate land to Gaza residents. Meanwhile, Israel's Prime Minister has warned Hamas it will end the ceasefire in Gaza and resume intense fighting if the Palestinian group does not return our hostages by Saturday noon, following which Hamas said it was committed to the Gaza ceasefire deal but said Israel had failed to abide by its commitments. It added that Israel was responsible for any complications or delays in the hostage release process. After nearly 16 months of conflict, Hamas has gradually been releasing hostages since the first phase of a ceasefire began on the 19th of January, but on Monday said it would not free any more until further notice over accusations Israel was violating the deal. Meanwhile, the delay in release of hostages has angered Trump, who on Tuesday proposed that Israel cancel the agreement altogether and let hell break out unless all of the hostages were returned by Saturday. And amid the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict, many Israeli soldiers have been grappling with the trauma of continuous violence. Seeking peace and solace, some of them are coming to India to heal from post-war trauma. They are turning to Indian mythology and meditation practices to overcome the haunting memories of war and terrorism. Our correspondent Akhilesh Suman spoke with Hilashe Regaman, who runs the Lotus Valley, one of the organizations of this initiative.
Hila Regaman is running an NGO, the Lotus Way. Hila, how are you helping Israeli soldiers in getting out of the post-war trauma?
First of all, we would like to bring all our IDF release discharge soldiers that are traveling here in India to workshops that's been held in agricultural farm in India, and they will do field work in the farm. And then we will also engage in traditional Indian practices like yoga and mindfulness and meditation, and all of this is really healing practices. And in order also to combine with therapy, we're going to bring therapists from Israel, and they will do also group therapy. So in total, they're going to be very rehabilitative process for them. And we would like to offer them to our soldiers that have been facing mental issues.
How long you are doing this?
It's going to start next month. We're going to do the pilot next month, and it's going to continue for a few years.
Okay, so how many soldiers you might have healed in between?
We're going to offer it to between 15 to 20 soldiers each session, and it's going to be a monthly session.
So can you give me a number that how many soldiers you might have healed?
Oh, it's going to be around 120 each year, and if we're going to see it's going on and people are getting benefit from it, we're going to do it more frequently.
Which places in India have you taken them?
First of all, we are located here in Delhi, so it's going to be a farm in Delhi, and then through the route of their travel. So in the summer we go north, and in the winter we go south to Goa and to all these places that the Israeli travelers are traveling in.
So this is a unique initiative between India and Israel, that Israeli soldiers are being healed here in India by using Indian mythology, yoga therapy, and many more, excursion trips. Akhilesh Suman for DD News and DD India from Delhi.
And updates on Ukraine-Russia conflict now. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy will meet US Vice President J.D. Vance on Friday at the Munich Security Conference, where they are set to discuss Washington's push for an end to the three-year conflict with Russia. The U.S. delegation to the top European Security Conference, taking place between February 14th and 16th, will also include Secretary of State Marco Rubio and President Trump's Special Envoy for Ukraine and Russia, Keith Kellogg. The meeting with Vance comes with Donald Trump pushing for a swift end to the conflict, and after the U.S. president said that he would probably meet with Zelenskyy personally in the coming days. Meanwhile, ahead of the meeting, Zelenskyy offered land swaps in negotiations with Russia. In an interview to the English newspaper Daily, the Ukrainian president said that Kyiv will swap one territory for another. Zelenskyy said that he would offer Russian President Vladimir Putin territory that Ukraine seized in Russia's Kursk region 6 months ago. The offer comes as Russia freed an American prisoner, Mark Fogiel, an American school teacher, after being held captive since August 2021. President Donald Trump described it as a goodwill gesture on ending the conflict. Whereas, as Trump is counting on a quick peace agreement between Russia and Ukraine, U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, during his first trip overseas to Germany, said that Trump's administration will not be sending U.S. troops into Ukraine. The Defense Secretary also said Trump is committed to delivering a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia.
Would you be open to sending U.S. troops into Ukraine to track weapons shipments?
We are not sending U.S. troops to Ukraine.
Well, Google renames the continent Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America for U.S. users on its platform. This change, which appeared in Google Maps and search results for U.S. users, has raised eyebrows, as the Gulf of Mexico is a long-established geographical name recognized internationally. While Google has not provided a detailed explanation for the change, although there is speculation that the update aimed at simplifying place names for U.S. users. Amid the controversies, Associated Press said that its White House reporter was barred from an event with President Donald Trump over reporters' refusal to follow his order, renaming the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America. The issue adds more fuel to the fire of ongoing discussions on Trump's order to declare Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America, which also borders Mexico and has always been known by both governments as the Gulf of Mexico. And US President Donald Trump's planned 25% tariffs on steel and aluminium imports would pile on top of the other levies on Canadian goods, resulting in a total 50% tariff if threatened duties on all imports from Canada are enacted in March. Governments around the world, including Mexico, Canada and the EU, condemned Trump's metal tariffs and braced for even more levies from the new administration. Mexico's government stressed that the announced tariffs were unfair and unjustified because the U.S. runs a steel and aluminium trade surplus with Mexico. Also, Mexico's steel chamber, Conacero, warned that the U.S. duties would harm the local industry as well as supply chains across North America. It called for retaliatory tariffs on U.S. steel if Mexican exports are not exempted from the duties. Well, Brazil, on its part, said that the country would not engage in a trade war. It said that the government has yet to discuss the U.S. tariffs, but emphasized that Brazil will always be in favor of strengthening free trade and will not take part in any trade war. Japan has requested the U.S. to exempt it from steel and aluminium tariffs, even though Trump has clearly said no exceptions or exemptions. Trade Minister will make an announcement on Wednesday on the fresh tariff measures being used as grounds for insurance payments if they apply to exports from Japan to the U.S. Meanwhile, Trump has accepted to give great consideration to Australia's request for an exemption to the steel tariffs due to that country's trade deficit with the U.S. He noted Australia was one of the few countries with which the United States had a trade surplus. Experts say the tariff hike, which is scheduled to take effect on March 12th, would reverberate across the supply chain, affecting all businesses that rely on the materials. And as the Trump administration begins rolling out import taxes on different countries and commodities, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell stated that while the case for free trade remains valid, it is not the central bank's role to comment on tariff or trade policies. Powell also emphasized that the U.S. economy was not in recession.
I guess I ought to say this. I think the standard case for free trade and all that logically still makes sense. It didn't work that well when we have one very large country that doesn't really play by the rules. And in any case, it's not the Fed's job to make or comment on tariff policy. That's for elected people, and it's not for us to comment. Ours is to try to react to it in a thoughtful, sensible way and make monetary policy so that we can achieve our mandate.
While U.S. space agency NASA swapped out the astronaut capsule it plans to use for an upcoming routine flight to the International Space Station, a scheduling move that will allow slightly earlier return for two Starliner astronauts who have been on the station far longer than expected. The U.S. Space Agency said mission management teams opted to use a previously flown SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule for its Crew 10 mission to the space station instead of a new SpaceX capsule whose production, it said, has been delayed. The decision moves up the Crew 10 launch to March 12th from the previous target of March 25th. The return of two astronauts, Butch Wilmore and Sunita Williams, also flew to the International Space Station on Boeing's BA. And faulty Starliner capsule last summer has hinged on the arrival of the Crew 10's four-person crew in order to keep the station's American contingent staffed at normal levels. And still to come on DT India News Hour. India to host next AI summit by the end of this year or early next year. Millions of devotees gather for Maghi Purnima Snan as part of the grand Mahakumbh Mela. And India celebrates Guru Ravidas Jayanti, honouring the 15th century saint's teachings of equality and social reform.
Timeless, boundless and infinite, the essence of faith, the soul of Sanatan culture, from the sacred confluence of Prayag, where divinity descends to earth. Witness the grandeur, the devotion, the magic, world's largest cultural and spiritual gathering. with over 450 million devotees expected to attend. Mahakumbh, India's greatest festival of faith. Exclusively on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Time now for a quick recap of the headlines. Indian Prime Minister Modi pays homage to memory of freedom fighter V.G. Savarkar in Marseille. Will pay tributes to Mazak War Cemetery with French President Macron. Inauguration of Indian Consulate General also on the agenda. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and US VP J.D. Vance meet on the sidelines of Paris AI Summit, discuss diversifying India's energy sourcing. Prime Minister Modi to visit US on the second leg of his two-nation visit. US President Trump reiterates his idea of owning a rebuilt Gaza Strip under US authority, faces pushback from visiting Jordanian King Abdullah II. Egypt to present a vision for reconstruction without exiling Palestinians. Israel threatens to resume Gaza fighting if hostages not released by Saturday. Trump also reiterates Saturday deadline for Gaza hostage release. Ahead of meeting with US Vice President J.D. Vance, Ukrainian President Zelenskyy offers land swaps amid peace talks with Russia. And moving on, the AI Action Summit in Paris highlighted divisions among leaders on AI regulation. US Vice President J.D. Vance warned against overregulation and authoritarian tech. In contrast, European leaders, including Macron and von der Leyen, called for AI regulation to ensure trust. The US and UK did not sign the statement on inclusive and sustainable artificial intelligence. Fuzail Ahmed reports for more.
As the technology takes root, mood on artificial intelligence shifted from concerns around safety to geopolitical competition at the AI Action Summit in Paris. The debate ranged from authoritarian censorship to the need for rules to govern AI, and from freeing AI from ideological bias to serving humanity. French President Emmanuel Macron stressed regulation was needed to ensure trust in AI.
As we have done during this summit, we need to continue to advance international governance of artificial intelligence, that which, in essence, based on the actions and coalitions that we have launched today, will enable us to consolidate the elements of trust in artificial intelligence. Alongside this, movement of acceleration and innovation, and will enable us to set the rules, because we need these rules for artificial intelligence to move forward.
The European Commission President also launched Invest AI, an initiative to mobilize 200 billion euros for investment in AI, including a new European fund of 20 billion euros for AI gigafactories.
Yes, AI needs competition, but AI also needs collaboration. And AI needs the confidence of the people and has to be safe. And actually, this is the purpose of the AI Act, to provide for one single set of safe rules across the European Union, 450 million people, instead of 27 different national regulations, and safety is in the interest of business.
However, US Vice President J.D. Vance seems to differ with the European leaders. Vance remarked, massive regulations on artificial intelligence could strangle the technology, and rejected content moderation as authoritarian censorship.
We feel very strongly that AI must remain free from ideological bias, and that American AI will not be co-opted into a tool for authoritarian censorship.
Google CEO Sundar Pichai highlighted few advantages of artificial intelligence.
It will both unleash creativity in the tools of artists and so on, but people can use it to create deep fakes. So we are early on working on technology like SynthID, watermarking technology, we will need standards, and those are areas where governments and private companies can work together to create a standardized way to detect deepfakes.
The United States and the United Kingdom did not sign the Paris AI Summit's declaration entitled Statement on Inclusive and Sustainable Artificial Intelligence. The UK government cited national interest for not signing the AI Summit statement. With Fuzail Ahmed, Amit Mukherjee for DD India.
Well, the next AI summit will be hosted in India, likely by the end of this year or early next year. Speaking exclusively to DD India correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya, S. Krishnan, Secretary of Ministry of Electronics and IT, confirmed the development.
Joining me is Secretary Maiti S. Krishnan to talk about India's chances of hosting. Sir, Prime Minister proposed that India will be hosting the summit, next 4th summit of AI. What is the latest update on that?
Today, in his concluding statement before the AI Action Summit here in Paris, the Honorable Prime Minister made an offer to host the next AI Summit in India, and the offer appeared to be accepted by all the other countries who were present, and they were grateful for the acceptance of the offer. And we will now work on fitting in this particular summit within the overall schedule of international events world over in the AI space. And we will also identify a suitable venue in India to hold the event.
Any particular time frame you guys are looking at?
November 2023 was when the Bletchley Park AI Safety Summit was held. The Seoul Summit was held in May of 24. This summit has been held in February of 25. So the gap varies. It's sometimes 6 months, sometimes 9 months. So we'll work based on what the international schedule looks like. There is no hard and fast rule there.
Much appreciate your time. So that was the Secretary Matis stating that short while, probably either this year end or next year early, we will have the 4th AI Summit in India. With Camera Rakesh, this is Tapas Bhattacharya for DD India from Paris.
Well, the United States and Britain have declined to sign the Paris AI Summit's Declaration on Inclusive and Sustainable Artificial Intelligence. While 61 countries, including China, France, Germany and India, pledged to ensure AI remains transparent, ethical and secure, the UK cited national interest as its reason for opting out. The US has also refrained from signing, raising questions about global AI governance. And now to all the latest from the Mahakumbh, the largest religious congregation in the world. Well, millions of devotees thronged the ghats of Triveni Sangam in North Indian city of Prayagraj to take the holy dip on the occasion of Magh Purnima today. Magh Purnima is a holy occasion for bathing in the Triveni Sangam, the confluence of rivers Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati. It is believed that taking a holy dip on this full moon day cleanses the soul, washes away sins and brings blessings from the divine. Since early morning, thousands of devotees have already taken the holy dip at Triveni Sangam and other ghats. Millions more are making their way to the Sangam nose to participate in the sacred ritual. With today's holy dip, the month-long Kalpavas will conclude and nearly 10 lakh Kalpavasis will begin departing from the Mahakumbh. These pilgrims have been fasting, meditating and engaging in prayers since Paush Purnima, marking a period of deep self-discipline and devotion. Well, also, the Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath continued to monitor Magh Purnima Snan at Triveni Sangam Prayagraj from his office. He had already issued several guidelines to officials to ensure the smooth passage of the event. State police have planned special travel arrangements for the day to avoid chaos. Artificial intelligence-enabled cameras and drones have also been deployed to monitor devotees' movement and regulate traffic in the area. To ensure the safety and security of all devotees, a no-vehicle zone has been declared in Prayagraj with an exception in place for only emergency vehicles. Special arrangements have been made for crowd movement and vehicles of Kalpavasis will be allowed to enter the fair after bathing. And for more from Prayagraj, we have Debyendu Mondal joining us. Well, Debyendu, today is Magh Purnima. Tell us about the scene there. How is the influx of the devotees going on?
Well, Lipakshi, good morning from Prayagraj here. And of course, it's again the time for one of the holiest in the river, in the Sangam, which is influence of the Ganga, Yamuna and the mythical Saraswati. Since day before yesterday, we have been witnessing people from across India and across different countries have been making their way into Prayagraj. Out traffic jams leading to this, influx of people from different parts of the country. And also, given the fact that the sheer number, it's Mahakumbh for the Maghi Purnima Snan, by the Uttar Pradesh administration as well as the Mela administration, which is taking all security measures very, very strictly, given the fact that, they do not untoward incident to happen at this particular time, because the sheer number of people that have already descended into the holy land of Prayag. So therefore, the police barricade put in place, even from outside the city, some movements are being diverted from different parts of the city to manage the crowd. So drone cameras that are being used, that are taking rounds near the Sangam, as well as the entire movement whatsoever have been stopped in the Mela. Only special and emergency vehicles are being allowed into this, but they do not want the devil coming to take that holy dip, the dip of faith, to be destroyed. Of course, many such security measures by the Uttar Pradesh administration as well as here at Kumbh.
We could see the flowers being showered on the devotees right there up on our screens, and thank you so much for all those details. And moving on, people across India commemorated the birth anniversary of Guru Ravidas on February 12th as Guru Ravidas Jayanti, a revered 15th century saint and poet who played a key role in the Bhakti movement. His teachings emphasized social equality, harmony and justice, inspiring generations. The mystic poet saint played a key role in Bhakti movement and also was a social reformer. He was a strong advocate of the elimination of casteism and gender-based inequality. The occasion is widely observed across northern India, particularly in states like Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Chandigarh. Celebrations typically include religious processions, devotional music and community gatherings where followers come together to honor his legacy. And President of India, Draupadi Murmu, has extended her greetings on the birth anniversary of Guru Ravidas. In a message, the President has said, Guru Ravidas ji was a great Indian saint who gave the message of unity and brotherhood to all through his writings. His soulful poetry transcends the barriers of caste and religion and motivates entire humanity. The life of Saint Ravidas ji is a source of inspiration for all sections of society. On this occasion, let us imbibe his message of devotion, compassion and selfless service, make it a part of our lives and contribute to the making of an inclusive society and a developed nation, unquote. And still to come, DD India News Hour. US shoppers face rising egg prices and purchase limits amid ongoing bird flu outbreak. And in sports, India's pace spearhead Jasprit Bumrah ruled out of Champions Trophy due to injury. Also, elephants, fire, dancers and drummers shine as Sri Lanka celebrates annual Buddhist festival.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium, we'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Kuran, and on to some business news now. Shoppers across the U.S. are encountering higher egg prices and purchase limits due to a strained supply chain worsened by an ongoing bird flu outbreak. Many stores have imposed restrictions on egg purchases, with some customers allowed to buy only 1 dozen at a time as egg prices continue to rise. Since April, the U.S. bird flu outbreak has infected nearly 70 people, primarily farm workers. The H5N1 virus has reduced milk output in cattle and pushed up egg prices by wiping out millions of laying hens. While U.S. stock markets wobbled on Tuesday as traders kept a nervous eye on U.S. President Trump's next tariff moves and worried about inflation and interest rates. European markets rose, with both German and London markets again set records, while Asian equity markets struggled for direction. The uncertainty fueled by Trump's moves has pushed a safe haven gold even higher. All three major U.S. indices had opened lower, but the Dow finished positive and the S&P 500 ended unchanged. The Nasdaq dropped 0.4%. Downing Street set records. FTSE 100 index went up 0.1%. Hong Kong Seng index went down by 1.1%. Meanwhile, major U.S. stock indexes finished mixed, also due to Federal Reserve commentary. U.S. Fed Chair Jerome Powell, in his congressional testimony on Tuesday, said that they are in no rush to cut its short-term interest rate again, given an economy that is strong overall.
With our policy stance now significantly less restrictive than it had been, and the economy remaining strong, we do not need to be in a hurry to adjust our policy stance. We know that reducing policy restraint too fast or too much could hinder progress on inflation. At the same time, reducing policy restraint too slowly or too little could unduly weaken economic activity and employment.
While you're watching DD India News, our time now for some sports news. The Indian Cricket Board (BCCI) on Tuesday confirmed that India's pace spearhead Jasprit Bumrah has been ruled out of India's squad for the Champions Trophy 2025. Bumrah's absence leaves a major gap in India's pace attack, as he has been a key performer in the team's bowling lineup. The 31-year-old has been out of action since the final innings of the last test match of the Border Gavaskar Trophy, where he was not able to bowl due to a back issue. The 23-year-old pacer Harshit Rana was named as Bumrah's replacement of the final 15-man squad. In another selection twist, young opener Yashasvi Jaiswal was also left out of the final squad, with 33-year-old mystery spinner Varun Chakravarti being named in his place. Well, India will clash with England in the third and final ODI at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad on Wednesday. India will be aiming for a whitewash after winning the first and second ODI comfortably, while England will be looking to avoid a clean sweep and take some momentum into the upcoming Champions Trophy. This is the last ODI match for both the teams before the Champions Trophy, which is set to begin from February 19th. An Indian Olympian and Vice President of the World Athletics, Edil Somriwala, spoke to DD India's Narayan Singh on the sidelines of the National Games in Uttarakhand, stating that India has made tremendous progress in athletics in the last 15 years. Take a listen.
Uttarakhand is hosting the 38th National Games, and right now we are the track and field stadium here, and right now I am joined by the Vice President of the World Athletics, Edil Somriwala. Sir, a very warm welcome, and the 38 National Games are happening in Uttarakhand. So overall, how you see the progress of the Indian sports, especially the track and field?
Well, the progress of Indian sports has been tremendous in the last 15 years or so. If you see the number of medals we won, 15 years ago, we had hardly 10 medals in Asian Games. Today we have 29. We had 2 or 3 in Commonwealth. We have 8 medals. We had no medals in the Olympic Games. We have a gold and a silver. World Championships, we had 1 bronze, today have a gold and silver. Last World Championships in javelin throw in one event, there were 3 Indians in the top 6. Junior World Championship, we have world record holders, world champions, numerous medal winners. So it's been a great progress in the last 15 years.
So talking about, you are now in the world body, shifting from the president of the Indian Athletic Federation to the World Athletics. So how you look this? Indians are there, so how this thing is beneficial for the Indian sports?
If we don't have people in the world body, we have problems. If we have to get our technical officials appointed, if we have to ensure that we have a fair selection for everybody, we have fairness on the field, we have people on the jury, then people being on world bodies is very, very important.
So talking about the way we have witnessed world class infrastructure is also, when we went to the shooting range, it is of the world class. After the Paris Games, the equipments there are installed, they are of that level. And we went to the basketball arena, it is also of the NBA standard. What's your take on it?
No, see, I think infrastructure must be created top class. It doesn't have to be world class, but top class where you can host events up to Asian Games. You must give this to the athletes, because then the athletes need to get used to that equipment, that infrastructure, that environment, even the quality of the competition. Because if they have to go internationally, then it shouldn't be that you're going from a village to a city. You have to give them that feeling, that environment, that total feeling of taking part in an international competition.
So exactly here at the National Games, the athletes are getting that feeling of the international events like Commonwealth Games, Asian Games, as the management is the top class. With camera person Manmohan, Narayan Singh, DD India, Dehradun.
Well, today marks the birth anniversary of renowned naturalist Charles Darwin. His groundbreaking theory of evolution revolutionized the field of biology and reshaped understanding of life on Earth. DD India correspondent Princey Yadav has a report on this.
Homo sapiens, or humans, the most widespread species of primate and the last surviving member of the genus Homo. Humans are the most advanced living species, unparalleled in cognitive ability and capable of creating complex tools and technologies. But have you ever wondered where we come from? Throughout history, many scientists have sought to unravel the mysteries of human origin and evolution. But the man who reshaped our understanding of life on Earth is Charles Darwin, the father of evolution. Born in 1809 in Shrewsbury, England, Darwin pursued a passion for natural science despite his father's wishes for him to become a physician. Darwin's journey took a turning point in 1831 when he was invited to join the HMS Beagle as a naturalist. During his 5-year journey, he visited several locations, including the Galapagos Islands, where he observed remarkable differences among species, such as the giant tortoises and distinctive finches. These findings led to his 1859 work on the origin of species, where he introduced the theories of natural selection and evolution. Darwin proposed that species evolve over time, with the fittest surviving and passing on traits. Today, Darwin's theory forms the foundation of modern biology, driving key advancements in genetics, ecology, and our understanding of life's interconnectedness.
Charles Darwin passed away in 1882, but his legacy lives on. His curiosity and courage to challenge the status quo have left us with a deeper understanding of life itself. The next time you see a chimpanzee or an ape, remember they are not just animals, but in fact our distant relatives, reminding us how deeply interconnected we all are with the thread of evolution. With camera person Rajesh Rikhi, Princey Yadav for DD India.
Well, Sri Lanka's capital Colombo came alive with the sounds of drums and colourful lights as crowds gathered to watch majestic elephants and performers in the annual Buddhist festival Navam Perahera. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News App. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code in the screen to download now. Well, we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Vipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News App.